everyone, so I'm about to put my makeup on and I have a bit of time because Warren's gone out with Sienna and Aria is sleeping, hopefully, so I thought I would film it with you. I've done my like 12-minute like basic makeup like when I'm in a rush, but to be honest I rarely go out like that because I just don't like it. I like wearing lots of makeup and I like that it makes me feel confident, so I try and get on as much makeup as I can. So most days I wear more than that, so I thought I would show you what I tend to wear on a day-to-day basis, and this is really long lasting as well. I don't have time to touch up in the day and I normally don't even have time to look in the mirror, so I need to do it in the morning and make sure that it lasts. So all these products are really great for like long lasting and things like that. So yeah, it might be helpful to some of you because I have had a few questions about what foundation I use or how I get my makeup to stay looking good all day, things like that. So I'll show you all the products I use. I'm going to start with primer. Primer is really good if you want your makeup to last all day because it acts as like a seal on your skin, between your skin and your or between your kind of moisturiser and your foundation really. Because sometimes if you put it straight on top of moisturiser, then it can kind of slide off or slide around during the day. I've got the Mercier foundation primer and it is so good. I absolutely love it. It does tend to break me out though, so I try and only use it on like special occasions. I don't use it every day, but for days like today, it's Easter Sunday, it's like a special day, there's probably going to be photos taken and it's going to be like a long evening. We're at my mum's all evening, so I want my makeup to be put on now and still look good later because I probably won't have time to redo it before we go out, so I'm going to use my primer today. Sorry, that was a long explanation. I don't use very much of it at all, and I just tend to use it down the middle of my face and on my cheeks where my blusher is because I find my blusher tends to fade. So yeah. So I just rub that in just like a moisturiser and it just creates like a good base for your foundation. Okay, so then on to foundation. I use the Clarins Everlasting foundation because again it's a good foundation that is gonna last. It's really good coverage. The colour matches me really well. I have 110 Honey. It's oil free as well, and it's non-comedogenic, which means it doesn't block your pores. So this one doesn't break me out. And I did actually manage to tan last night. I don't know if you can tell, my hands and my neck are a little bit tanned. Aria slept quite well. I did tan at like 4 o'clock in the morning though because I knew she'd gone into a deep sleep, and she generally sleeps from like 4 until 7ish. So I fed her and then I went into the bathroom to tan because I'm fed up with being pale. But yeah, so even though I don't tan my face and this looks really dark compared to my skin on my face, it matches my neck. So yeah, so I just use the brush I'm using is by Bella & Bear, and it's the Lynx like flat top kabuki brush. I find this really good for working my foundation, gives a really nice finish and really good coverage as well, and it's a lot more hygienic than using your hands. So you can see how well that foundation has covered and how well the colour matches. I just love this foundation so much. So I don't tend to use concealer on my blemishes because, to be honest, I haven't found one that's the right colour and that doesn't break me out and that sits nicely on the skin. So I always just go back in with a little bit more foundation on my brush and just sort of stipple the areas I need a bit more coverage. So that's what I'm going to do now. My skin still isn't that great from having Aria. I don't think my hormones are quite back to normal yet. So I'm breaking out quite a lot, especially on my chin, which I know is hormonal. And then I just sort of make sure everything is blended all round. just love being a bit more tanned. So that's my foundation done. Now I'm going to move on to concealer. This is a new concealer for me. It's the Clarins Instant concealer, and someone recommended this as really good for dark circles, and obviously I'm not getting much sleep at the moment, so I thought I would try it. I got it in the light because I haven't been fake tanning, which I think is a little bit too light, so I do go over it with another concealer, which I'll show you in a minute, but I do think it's amazing for brightening. So just get a tiny bit on my finger, just dab, and then I use my fingers for this, or you can use, sometimes I use a beauty blender, but it's not clean at the moment, so just going to use my finger, and I try and take it down the sides of my nose as well, kind of create like a triangle, because that really helps sort of brighten that area, which is good when you're a mum and you don't get a lot of sleep. So that really helps like brighten the area. And then I go in with the Maybelline Instant Anti-Age Eye Eraser. This, everyone seems to talk about this, so I had to try it, and I do really like it actually. I just put this over the top just so my under eye isn't looking too white, because that's a bit light for me. So this kind of matches the colour back up with my foundation and just helps everything blend in a little bit better. I don't use much of it really, just to make sure I'm not too bright under there. So then I go in with my powder. I've used the Miner's Fresh Faced powder for absolutely ages because it's quite matte. I just have the translucent ivory, and it really reminds me of the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. It's quite similar to that one, but the Rimmel Stay Matte breaks me out. This one doesn't, so that's why I use this one. And I just brush that on to my T-zone and under my eyes just to set that concealer. I do tend to get quite oily, so I just like to set my T-zone. And I'd go over a little bit where I like to contour, just so the contour doesn't stick to my foundation, because then it can look a bit patchy and muddy. If you put a layer of powder in between, then it kind of glides on a lot easier. The brush I'm using for this is a Real Techniques sculpting brush. It's not a powder brush at all, but I find it gives a little bit more coverage rather than like a bigger powder brush. My powder done, and then I am going to contour my cheeks a little bit. I try and do this most days just because it makes me feel like my face looks a little bit slimmer, and I'm going to use the Real Techniques setting brush to do that. And I've got the Barry M Chisel Cheeks Contour Kit, and I use the middle colour so it's not too dark. And I don't do anything too much, just literally, you can already see, I can kind of see where the natural shadow is, so I just darken that slightly and blend it into my hairline so it doesn't look like I've just got a line. It kind of looks more like a shadow, just sort of blend it out. It just helps add a little bit more definition. And then obviously I do it on the other side. This side I don't have quite as much of a natural shadow. This side of my face is a bit chubbier. Again, I just do exactly the same thing. Sorry, I'm looking in the viewfinder so I can see what I'm doing because I haven't got a mirror set up. But now onto blusher. I'm using the Kiko, this is the Moon Dust in Mysterious Pink. I don't think you can get this anymore, it was limited edition, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It's like a blusher and a highlighter in one, so it's a great like quick product for mums because it's like a 2-in-1 product. And I'm using the Real Techniques stippling brush. I always use this for blush, I just find it works really well for me. So I just put a little bit of that on the apples of my cheek, and then I blend it into that contour colour so that it looks more natural, the key to looking natural is just blending everything and layering things up so you don't go in too heavy. So I just do a really light layer. I don't like too much blush at all, so that's enough for me. And then you can leave it at that. I do like a really highlighted look, so I'm going to go in with my highlighter. This is the number 7 Instant Radiance highlighter, and it's like a stick, so but it's not quite a cream. I'll just show you. It's a really gorgeous, like champagne-y colour. So I just pop that along the tops of my cheekbones, and I dab it so I don't wipe off the makeup that I've already put on. So just dab that onto my cheekbones. And I absolutely love this. I've tried all different ones of these, but this one tends to be the one that works best with my skin because it's not too oily. I have some Kiko ones, but they're just a little bit too greasy and they just slide around. This is quite a thick one. And then I just use whatever's left over on my finger under my brow bone. Next I do my eyebrows. I might zoom in for this because someone's asked me how I do my eyebrows. I'm using the Maybelline Brow Satin at the moment because I was using a powder, but I found that it just wiped off all the time. This stays put a little bit better, and it has the pencil on one end in like the brown, and then it has like a powder on the other end that you can use to set it if you want. I don't tend to use the powder, I just draw them on with this. I'll try and zoom in for you. And my eyebrows are not even at all, but I just sort of, I start at the front and draw that bit in. I like the front quite square. And then I just follow the rest of that line up. And you want to use lots of short strokes so that kind of mimics like hairs. If you just do one massive line, you'll just see one massive line. So just sort of draw them in. It looks much more natural if you do that. And then I take it up to the arch and then fill the sides in. Like that. So that's one eyebrow done. I'm not the best at eyebrows, and my eyebrows, like I said, aren't the best, but it's not too bad. They look alright for me, I think. And then I try and get the other one to match, but it never normally does. So again, I start at the front. Also, my eyebrows are in big need of a shape at the moment, but I haven't had time since having a baby. So yeah, this one's always slightly more rounded and this one is always more square, but that's just like the natural arch of my eyebrows, and I can't seem to get them to match. Eyebrows always look really dramatic when I've got no eye makeup on, but when I've got the rest of my eyes on, they look better. So next onto eyes. I always wear eyeshadow. I just feel like it really helps define my eyes. And to keep my eyeshadow stay in place, I use the Urban Decay Primer Potion. This stuff's really, really good. I use this even if I don't wear eyeshadow on days I am in like a big rush, because it just evens everything out and just stops my eyelids from getting oily. So I'm just going to put that on and take it up into the crease, because I do use a crease colour, and I sort of take it into the inner corner as well, because I always put a highlighter in that corner. So for eyeshadow, I use my Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. I've used this every single day since getting it. It's just amazing, and the first colour I'm going to go in is this lightest colour here, which is called Baby. Just on a like flat eyeshadow brush, and I just put that all over my eyelid. This really helps just brighten the eye and even everything out, and it's nice and shimmery. And I also put it in the inner tear ducts because, as you can see the difference, it just helps open that inner corner. It just helps brighten everything, especially when you're tired and you've got dark circles. It really helps. Okay, and then I flip that brush over and use the other side, and I'm going to go in with Pop, which is like this really nice shimmery, there, that one there. It's kind of like a taupey, mushroomy colour. And I'm just going to put that on like the outer part of my eyelid. Or kind of like the 2/3, the outer 2/3 of my eyelid. And then also just take a little bit of that underneath. Next I take this Bella & Bear Black Footed Cat brush, and it's like a fluffy angled brush. Really good for crease. So I'm going to go in with this colour here, which is like just a soft medium brown, and it's called 1987. So just get that on that brush and just go into the crease. And I've got quite hooded eyelids, so I need to keep my eye open and make sure you can see the shadow here. And creating this kind of shadow there just gives the illusion of not so hooded eyes. Then I go in with this Bella & Bear Pampas Cat brush, and it's just a big fluffy brush, and I basically just blend that out so that the lines aren't so harsh. So you can see the difference, it just kind of softens it a little bit, so it's not too dramatic and there's no harsh lines. Next I'm going to do my eyeliner. I use the L'Oreal Super Liner, if it's going to focus. I'm going to focus. It's not going to focus, but it's the L'Oreal Super Liner, the Perfect Slim. And I'm just going to line both eyes. Just do a nice thin line, no flick or anything. Just like that. I don't think I really suit a flick or anything. Okay, and then I just check they're even, they look alright to me. Take my eyebrow pencil and just line a little bit underneath there, just to give it a little bit more definition. I normally do this, I completely forgot. I normally do it straight after doing my eyebrows. that I forgot. There we go. Then on to mascara. At the moment I'm using the Maxfactor Velvet Volume False Lash Effect Mascara. Oh, my focus isn't working. So I just put a good coat of that on. And I really wiggle at the roots and pull it up just to get as much volume as I can, because my lashes are not the best. And I do the bottoms as well. So that's pretty much most of my face done, and then it just comes down to my lip. At the moment I've just got lip balm on. Sometimes I'll use a lip gloss or a lipstick. I think I'm just going to put a little bit of lip gloss on. This is Revlon's lip gloss. I'm not sure which one. It's just like a clear nude. So I'll just pop that on. So that's what I've got on at the moment. Most of the days I will just use this, but today I'm actually going to put on some lipstick, I've decided. This is a Kiko one. I can't work out which one it is, but I think I've reviewed it, so I'll leave the link down below for you. But it's really just a gorgeous, like My Lips but better kind of nude colour. So just adds a little bit of colour. These lipsticks are so good as well. I love Kiko lipsticks. They're just so like moisturising and glossy, but they have great colour payoff. So I love that colour for every day. I think it looks really good with a tan as well. I'm so happy I've got my tan back. Oh, so nice. So that is pretty much everything, and then just to ensure that I set everything, I use the Urban Decay De-Slick Makeup Setting Spray. So I've got the De-Slick one because I tend to have quite oily skin, so I'm just going to spray that all over my face from a distance, and it just helps really set everything, and it also gives a really nice finish to the makeup because I use quite a lot of powder because I do get oily. I don't like the powdery look, and this just helps like take that edge off without looking oily. It's just a really good product. So I'm just going to spray that. Like so. Just take my hair out. So this is like a close-up of my makeup. And there we have it. That is my sort of everyday makeup that I wear all the time. It does seem like it takes quite a long time, but because I know what I'm doing and I use the same products every single day, I lay them all out. I leave them like out on my shelves over there, so when it's time for me to do my makeup, I'm quickly like grab, put it on, grab, put it on, grab, put it on. Like I do the same thing every day, so it takes me about 15 minutes. So yeah, that is my makeup. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it helpful, and you'll find some products that are going to help you make your makeup last longer, or that you just like. And I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!